This is episode 47. Don't get dazzled and disillusioned by the numbers. Hello and welcome to the Online Course Coaching Podcast, where we deep dive into all aspects of online course creation, from concept to marketing and beyond. I'm your host, Tim Cooper, and it's a pleasure to have you with me today. Hello and welcome. I'm Tim Cooper, and I coach experts in all fields who want to expand their reach, share their knowledge, message and passion, and inspire people to live more fulfilling lives. For over 30 years, I have taught in the workplace, workshops, in the classroom and online. And if you have a message burning inside you that needs to get out into the world, contact me today. Albert Einstein said, "The one who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. Those who walk alone are likely to find themselves in places no one has ever been before." I really ask you to take that quote of Albert Einstein's on board, and as we go through this episode, you'll discover why. Now, I no doubt ruffled some feathers with my strong views in relation to the recent Udemy pricing change. I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but I know a lot of people do agree with what I have to say, and many don't care. You see, I see my role as being one to encourage thought, to present a different angle for consideration. At the end of the day, what you decide to do is your decision, and I respect that. But I also make no apology for expressing my point of view. Now, before we get into the content, I'd like to invite you to join me at the Authority Super Summit. Now, this is a live event being hosted from March 22nd to March 24th. It's a non-stop event. It's going to have 100 of the world's top authorities, top experts in different aspects of authority. So if you're tired of the struggle, if you want to establish yourself as an authority in your niche, this is the event for you. And the best news of all is that it's free. Yes, it is actually free to attend the live event. All you need to do is register your spot, and you can attend those days, the 22nd to the 24th, for free. Now, if you want to have lifetime access to the recordings, to over 70 hours of training by 100 of the best experts in their fields, then at the moment you can get that at an early bird price of only $97. But that is only available up until the point of the summit. After the summit, the price goes up considerably. Anyway, I'm there. I've reserved my spot, and I've also bought my early bird ticket because I don't want to miss this training, and I want to be able to go back and review it at any time. Now, if this is something that interests you, if you want to become an authority, if you want to be seen as an expert, if you want to demand the fees and the prices that you know you're truly worth, then come join me. Come to ecoursedomination.com/authority summit. That's ecoursedomination.com/authority summit. It is going to be well worth your time. Point 1. Udemy is not the be-all and end-all, nor is it the center of the online education universe. Surprisingly, there are many people in the world who have never heard of Udemy. 10 million students equates to only 3% of the United States population, let alone the world. To assume that all you need to do is to put your course on Udemy and people will find it is totally misguided. I'd like you to consider these 3 questions. How many of Udemy students are interested in your topic? Now, there are definitely topics that are hot, and there are definitely topics that are not. And if you are presenting in a topic that is hot, you stand to make more money, but it is relative to what you can earn if you self-published. That if you put your course on your own platform, and we'll go into this and I will illustrate this later in the episode. And how many of Udemy students have actually paid for their course? I believe it's still the most popular marketing strategy employed by the majority of Udemy instructors, and that is giving out a number of free coupons to their courses. So they want to get those seats filled, so they want to demonstrate to people social proof, so that when people are searching on Udemy, they can see, oh, there's 1,000 students in this course, there's 2,000 students in this course. So to get to that point, they give a lot of coupons out for free. So out of that 10 million students on Udemy, how many actually put their hand in their pocket and purchased a course? And out of that 10 million students on Udemy, how many of those students have actually started, let alone completed a course that they're enrolled in, whether that be for free or for that whopping $10 that they spent? I just really want you to think about that. How many of those students on Udemy, how many of those 10 million students on Udemy have actually reached their learning outcomes, have actually achieved the goal that they set out to when they enrolled in that course? 10 million. Don't be dazzled by the numbers. 10 million, it sounds like a big number. In the context of the population of the world, it is a drop in the ocean. And as I said, I have spoken to a number of people on a daily basis who don't even know what Udemy is or that Udemy exists. So to make a statement that people won't buy a course at a higher value because they know they can get it on Udemy, that might be true for 10 million people, like that whole 3% of the US, but it is not a fact. It is not what happens in the marketplace. If you look at the economy of the online education space, if you look at the economy of the digital product space, this is far from the truth. People will buy a product they see value in. And as I said, not everybody knows that Udemy exists. I think this is one of the major mistakes or major assumptions that people make. And this isn't just restricted to Udemy instructors. This is people in general, that when we are marketing something, when we have a product, we know what our competition is because we have lived in that space. We know that space. So we know what our competition is. And so we assume that everybody else knows what our competition is as well. And the point of the matter is that they don't. It depends on where they are within their journey. Have they just started looking? They might not even have started looking. They might come across your course as part of a search that they did for something else and thought, oh, wow, this is interesting. They might not even thought that a course existed. Say, for an example, a man's had a fight with his wife and she's threatening to leave him and everything else, and he's looking for ways to improve himself. Like, obviously he sees there's something wrong in the way that he relates to his wife, to his family. So he goes to the internet to Google up a site that is offering advice on that particular problem. He comes across a course. He wasn't Googling for a course. He was Googling for information, but a course came up. See, don't just assume that people go on looking for courses or your courses or go on to Udemy, right? People will firstly search for a solution. Now, having found that course, will he buy it? Won't he buy it? Well, that depends on the sales page. That depends on whether the person who's developed that course can now relate the value of that course to him. So don't assume that everybody knows about all the competition out there, all the courses, all the books, all the webinars, all the workshops, because they don't. Some people can just be very early on, just looking for information and stumble across things. Some people can be early on and know a handful of products, right? But this is something I learned from Eben Pagan, is don't even mention the competition. So when you are doing your promotional material, doing your sales pages and everything else, don't even mention the competition. Don't even say why your product is better than product X, because chances are they didn't even know about product X until you mention it. And now they're going to go and have a look at product X because you just brought it to their attention. So just come back to the first point. Udemy is not the be all and end all, and do not assume that everybody on the planet knows that Udemy exists, and do not assume that Udemy is the first stop that people go to when they're looking for a course, because that is not true. Point 2. Now, I used to advise that Udemy was a viable lead generation tool. And we used to talk about strategies where we make a low cost or free course that the student can do that then takes them through. And then at the end of that course, we say, now, if you want more information, go here, and we point them to a higher price course or to a more comprehensive course at a higher price point. And up until recently, I would have said with Udemy's pricing structure, that was still viable because we had courses priced between $9 and $300. So if you still have people going on there looking at $300 price tag courses, If you took them off Udemy onto your own site and you offered them a course for $97 or $197, there wasn't too much of a disconnect because they saw those prices on Udemy as well. So it wasn't totally unexpected. Now with this new shift in Udemy's pricing, where they're only pricing between $20 and $50, if you take them off site to your own self-hosted course and you show them a price tag of $97, because they're not seeing any of that on Udemy, I don't know, the chances of conversion are going to be reasonably low. And the other thing to consider is that if Udemy's primary audience are bargain-chasing discount hunters, how many students that you put into this free or low-cost course are actually going to put their hands in their pocket for a $97, $197, or even a $497 course? You see, Udemy is ultimately a marketplace where people with deep pockets and high expectations go to find the best deal they can. Personally, at this point in time, I'm reconsidering using Udemy as a lead generator. I like to control my platform, and I don't like marching to someone else's drum. I've also lost confidence in Udemy. I believe they have let their instructors down, and I don't trust them. You never know what rule changes they'll come out with next. I may or may not reconsider this in the future. I have to look at effort versus return, and there are definitely avenues that offer a higher return for the same effort. Point 3, the market drives the price. Now, to be honest, I used to believe this for a long time, and if you listen back over previous episodes of this podcast, you will no doubt hear me make that statement. These days, that statement annoys me. I hate it when I hear people simply recite it because it simply isn't true. The market dictates the price only if you let it. If your students dictate how much they will spend, then you haven't done your job relating the value to the student. Let me relate this back to my brick and mortar massage business, because I used to get sucked into discount wars. Goodness only knows the number of discount massage clinics within a stone's throw of my own clinic. And to be honest, I was struggling to the point of walking away from my business. It's the reason I started to learn marketing. It was my intention to develop courses and write books and earn my living that way. But what happened is I started to apply the marketing techniques I was learning to my brick and mortar business. And I turned that business around in less than 90 days. And now I'm so busy, I'm finding it hard to fulfill my initial plan of walking away from it. What's more, I'm charging more than the standard rate for my area and over twice as much as the discount massage places. And my business is booming. Why? Because I successfully translated the value of my service to the client. My clients pay my fees without question and happily rebook with me. In fact, I've had clients say to me, why would you go to a discount massage place and take your chances with what sort of treatment you'll get? The discount shop has a lower perception of value in the eyes of the client. I can assure you there are plenty of people out there who are willing to pay a fair price for your course. In return, you have to give them real value. You have to provide them with a tangible outcome. I was watching a YouTube video that was recently released by a Udemy instructor. He provides courses on how to develop apps, a very hot and popular topic on Udemy, well, anywhere for that matter. From memory, he stated he'd been with Udemy for just over 12 months and showed a screenshot of his lifetime revenue on Udemy sitting at just over $200,000. Now, at first impressions, you're probably going to say, wow, that's great. And it is. But there are a couple of other instructors who started off with Udemy back in the early days. They too presented courses on iOS development. But when Udemy first started to change the rules a couple of years ago, they moved their course to Teachable, which is formerly Fedora, and generated over $2 million. Their business is named Bitfountain, and you can find it at bitfountain.io. So don't get dazzled with the numbers. Yes, 200,000 sounds great. But I guess, like me, you prefer the 2 million. As I said, the market will only dictate the terms if you let it. If you're happy to persevere with Udemy and their bargain hunting audience, if you're happy to let Udemy make the rules and control you in every way, then yes, the market will dictate the terms, because Udemy is driven by and extremely reactive to the market it targets. And let me just repeat that. The market it targets, not the market in general. Let's look at it another way. Ford versus Lamborghini. There are plenty of people driving around in Fords because they're just looking for a basic vehicle to get them from A to B. But there is also a market for Lamborghinis. There are people who see the value and want the features the Lamborghini has to offer. By the same token, if your course shows the student how to double or treble their income, if your student can take their income to 6 or even 7 figures by following the information in your course, then how much is that course worth to the student? If your course showed someone how to increase their annual income by $60,000 or even $80,000, would charging $500 for that course be unreasonable? I don't think so. But you can't do that on Udemy. And would you be willing to share those secrets for a maximum of $50? I wouldn't. So it will be interesting to see how the overall quality of future Udemy courses will be affected. But that's a topic for a future episode. More importantly, your students are more likely to commit to a $500 course, and you will make more time for them to help guide them to their objective. Higher priced courses, usually as a rule, include a live coaching element. But either way, you are working with your students either in a group environment, so you can have your core pre-recorded material, but you also have that live interactive time with your students to guide them to their objectives so that you are working with them so that they get the results. So I can assure you there will always be a market for premium courses. And when I talk about premium courses, I'm not talking courses priced in the thousands of dollars. Although if the value is there and the prospective student sees the value, there is absolutely no reason why you can't price a course up in the thousands. But really, I'm talking about $97, $197, $297, $497, even $997 courses. They do take more work and there is a financial outlay. It does cost you money to self-host, set up an affiliate program and market your course. But the rewards can be high if you're offering a quality course that delivers on promises and provides a tangible outcome. I'd really love to know what you think about this topic because there are people definitely on both sides of the fence here. There are people who are still very pro Udemy and there are people who are starting to see that this isn't the greatest thing for the online education space, that this information is being devalued. Like, what are Udemy courses going to offer in the future for $50? And to be quite frank, if somebody says that they are going to show you how to earn 6 figures in 6 months and they're charging $50 for that course, I don't know. Once again, to me, a discounted course has a lower perceived value, and I'd be questioning the content of that course and its ability to deliver on what is being promised. That's my own personal opinion. What's your opinion? I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email or get onto the show notes at ecoursedomination.com/47. That's numbers 4 and 7. That's ecoursedomination.com/47. And go into the comments area and let me know. Let me know what you think about this topic. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, enjoy this podcast, if you find it helpful, I'd really, really appreciate it if you could pop across to iTunes and leave me a rating and review, because your reviews help to rank the show, and the more people who can find the show, the more people we can help. And so that means that you're helping people too, and that's a good thing. Now, if you leave me a 5-star review, please send me an email at asktim@ecoursedomination.com, letting me know that you've left me a review and what country you're from, and I'll give you a shout out on the show. And once again, those show notes can be found at ecoursedomination.com/47. That's the numbers 4 and 7. And last, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast. We live in a very busy world. We are bombarded with information, and sometimes it gets to the point of overwhelm. We just don't know who to listen to. We don't know what information to choose. So taking the time to listen to this podcast, I really do honestly appreciate you. I hope you take action. I hope you take the information that we provide here and you put it to work, and that is helping you to build a successful online course creation business. And until next time, take care.